beginner's dilemma. I don't see many beginners, but my talk will be oriented to the beginners. So experienced campaigners, seasoned campaigners can very well take a post-lunch nap. Now, I don't have any financial interest in any of the products. Why capsular support devices are required? We know that the presence of weak zonular support increases the risk of intra and post-operative complications, which include postural capsular rupture and its consequent vitreous loss, nucleus drop, lens drop, IOL drop, and if everything goes very smoothly, then a decentered IOL at the late post-operative period. So capsular support devices are management tools designed to facilitate the bag stability during phacoemulsification, prevent all these complications, and ensure a good IOL centration. Certain conditions are having weak zonules, zonulopathy, out of that zonular dehiscence, which may be traumatic or iatrogenic, like what we induce sometimes while managing a rock hard nucleus. Inherent zonular weakness like pseudoexfoliation and high myopia. Certain disorders are grouped together as Ajay has already mentioned as ectopia lentis, which may be idiopathic or may be associated with certain syndromes like Marfan's or Weil-Marchesani's. And capsular contraction force, which is otherwise also very unpredictable and very irregular, may be exuberant in certain conditions like pseudoexfoliation or chronic uveitis like that. So how do we approach? It is basically on the etiology, which may be progressive or non-progressive, grading of the zonulolysis, I will come to that, whether it is localized or diffused. Grading is very simple, minimal, mild, moderate, and severe, depending on the amount of the zonular loss. If there is no overt loss and very minimal phacodonesis, then it is a minimal. If it is overt loss but less than 4 clock hours, what is coming here? I don't know. I have to cancel it. It is not coming. What? So overt loss, but less than 4 clock hours of loss with mild phacodonesis, that is called mild, and moderate if it is 4 to 8 clock hours loss. And severe when it is more than 8 clock hours and there is severe phacodonesis, and center is also decentralized. Now, what are the devices? As Ajay has mentioned, we have got implants and retractors. Implants may be capsular tension ring, which may be modified, and capsular tension segments. Now, goals are different for implants and retractors. Implants' goal is to apply outward force at the equator, which is distributed to the entire capsular circumference. It is to stabilize the bag during phacoemulsification and give a good IOL centration later on, and reduce the contraction force in phimosis-prone capsular bags. But it does not support the bag in anteroposterior direction, and it interferes definitely with cortex aspirations many times. On the other hand, capsular retractor has the goal to provide focal support to the capsular edge and the equator in an anterior-posterior direction, because we are pulling from anterior side, and does not interfere with the cortex aspiration. But it doesn't have any residual supportive function once it is removed, and we have to remove it at the end of the surgery, and neither it can prevent phimosis. So what is the timing? Retractors can be have to be immediately after CCC, but implants can be any time, preferably later on. Moderate, I will definitely start with retractor and then capsular tension ring or modified capsular tension ring. For severe, I will go all the way out to start with retractor, then CTR, then CT segments, which may be multiple also. And I may alter my selection of lens to a SUSARD or glued IOL or AC IOL. Now, there are certain hiccups for the beginners particularly, that the leading edge hit the capsular fornix and does not progress. Now, if we force here, then we may perforate the equatorial bag. So the selection of the size of the CTR and selection of the OVD is very important. Once it happens, that's just withdraw it, inject more viscoelastic and introduce the CTR in a circumferential manner. CCC too small, that may create a problem for premature or improper release of the trailing end. In that case, it may go to the sulcus, pushing the bag and causing further dialysis. CCC too large, the whole CTR may be extruded to the sulcus, which unfortunately we may be oblivious to it until the catastrophe starts. The hook is not released from the eyelet, that is not a problem. With the repositor, with the second hand, just tap it. Capsular retractor is entangled in CTR. That is relatively more common. We have to lift the capsular retractor while introducing the CTR. We have to direct the CTR posteriorly towards the equator, and while before completion of the insertion of the CTR, we have to release that area of retractor. There is a short video. I am sure that you will see much more video from my next speakers. This is a severe severe jonular loss, around approximately 12 clock hours, more than 180 degree. Here again I am telling that capsular axis size is very important. It should not be too small or too large. So it should be approximately 5 millimeter. If it is less than 4.5 or more than 5.5, both way it has got a problem. We go for a hydrodissection so that there is a cleavage between the capsule and the subcapsular cortex. And then we apply the retractors in the area of maximum dialysis. And because I am applying 3 retractors, because it is a severe jonular weakness, so I am using the this CTR at the beginning, which I prefer to do it later on. Then this is a soft cataract, so only aspiration mostly. Luckily, I didn't get any cortex aspiration problem. Now I have selected a 3-piece lens and putting the haptic in the area of maximum jonulolysis. And I thought that I am over, but I have seen that there is still decentration. So I have decided to go for a CT segment, which has to be sutured under scleral flap. So this is the suturing by the railroad technique. You will see a lot of them. Sorry, it is not coming to the next slide. What do I do? No, I escape. And that so I conclude here with a welcome to 21 Kolkata.